So some months back, I did a video on one of my websites crashing after the Google update, and then I did a video on a few of my websites that had AI content that had crashed and burned. They went from being on page 1 and 2 to being literally de-indexed. When I would search for the keywords they were ranking for, they would not come up. When I would search for even using the website's URL, there would just be one URL page, the main page that would show up, and really there was nothing. And I had three websites that were running AI content. They were entirely made. They were entirely made using AI content. Some of the articles were manually edited, and I do the editing myself just to make sure that it read properly. And these AI articles were also server optimized. So I would generate them using an AI tool, and then I would copy them into Surfer and optimize them for a score anywhere from 75 to 85, and I'll add images and everything. And these sites tanked, and these sites were doing perfectly great. And then after a while, after the update, the Google algorithm update back in May or April, I guess it was, those websites just tanked. And then since then, I've been working on recovering them. So this video is about how I recovered those websites uh, from the penalty that they received. And I never got a message from Google that these sites have been penalized. They just stopped ranking them. They just stopped indexing them. They disappeared. So this video is about what I did to recover those sites. And I think a lot of people who have been using AI content and who feel that it was because of AI content that their websites have disappeared from SERPs can use these steps to recover their website. And honestly, it's gonna be a lot of work depending on how large your website is, but it's an important part of recovering your website. And it will take a few months, because with me it took like around like 6 months, I guess, to go from not being visible to now being visible for a lot of the keywords that I was once visible for on page 1. My website is now visible, and it's you can search for it. If I search for it, it appears in SERPs. Not on the number 1 spot, but the two of my keywords are on number 3, and then there are a lot of them on number 4 and 5, and then the remaining of them are on number 9 and 10, and then all the other keywords are on page 2 and 3. So that's irrelevant for this video, but I'll go ahead and talk you guys through the steps and what I did to optimize. So if you guys like the video, like and subscribe. And I have another video coming up soon. It's gonna be about how I use search intent to optimize my content. That's going to be in an upcoming video. Most people misunderstand search intent, and I think this is going to be a good video for people to understand how Google looks at search intent, and then how you can use that to optimize your own website, and then go from there. So without further ado, let's get started. So the first thing I did was I made a list of all the pages that I had. What I usually do is, the first thing before I do any affiliate site, is I create what's called a content map. So the content map maps out every page I need to create, every title I need to create, every keyword I need to target, the length of my articles, and everything is created. And so I did this before I started generating AI content. And so once the content map was ready, I generated AI content and started publishing it and started building internal links. So I know that the topical map is good, and I know that it's semantically relevant to what I'm targeting. And if all things are equal and Google is penalizing, or it's just de-ranking websites that are using AI content, the only way for me to know that would be to remove all the AI content and publish human-written content. So what I did was I went ahead and I started going back to those Surfer articles that I mentioned, and I rewrote those articles myself. I did independent research. I went ahead and I researched those articles. I wrote them right like I would write in any other article. And I have a writer that also does this for me. So he did half of it and I did half of it for one of the websites. And I just wanted to see like what kind of results I would get. So we wrote the articles, and then we Surfer optimized it. and we uploaded it to the website. Use the same pictures. We use the same alt tags for the pictures. And we went ahead and uploaded it. And Google was not crawling when we started uploading these articles. And the AI content articles were, we were using the same AI content articles, but we were just replacing them one by one by human written articles. So once we'd publish 10 articles at a time. So once we reach 10 articles, we'll go ahead and publish those articles. We started with the main page or the home page, and then we worked our way from there. So we did one level, which was the home page, and then second level, which are the connecting pages, and then third level, which are the sub-connecting pages, the third level pages. We do all three of them. We did all three of them. And so Google was not indexing one of our sites that we were publishing this content to, and it was 2 months into it. We had completed 90% of all the articles were human written, and Google was not indexing my website. So once we were 100% human written content, and Google was not indexing my website. So then I had to move to step 2, and this is the next thing I did, and this is something that's I think really important if you're trying to recover your website, and if you think that AI was the reason why Google had de-indexed it or de-ranked it, is I went and I started to look at anchor texts for links within my website, and what I found was that I was just using a top-down silo connection. So level 1 to level 2 to level 3 and level 4, and each article will connect to each other, and each article will be semantically relevant to the other, and then they would be connected to the anchor text, and the anchor text would be an exact phrase anchor text. So looking at that, I would imagine that Google would look at that as being overly optimized. Even though I never had a problem with this in the past, Google I've never had, like, at least internally, I've not had a problem with this. But apparently, I said, okay, since Google is not indexing us, I even tried all the indexing tactics that I've talked about in my previous videos, and Google would not index us. So what do we do? So what I did was I went ahead and I changed all the internal links. And so what I did was I took my own advice and I used what's called a reverse silo, and there's a video I did on the reverse silo. And I took the route and I did a reverse silo on this website. Then I resubmitted it to Google, and then Google started to crawl my, first it was crawl and not indexed, and that's fine because at least Google came and crawled. And then 2 weeks later, my pages started to get indexed, and as my pages started to get indexed, I started to appear on SERPs, and so right off the bat, I was on page 1 within the first 2 weeks of Google crawling my website initially, and then I started getting clicks, and as soon as clicks started coming in, all my other websites began getting crawled. So what that told me was that if I get clicks to my website and my bounce rate was acceptable, Google will then go ahead and crawl all of my other pages as well. So what I did was I had 2 other websites that were penalized, same type of websites, same AI content problems. So did the same thing with those websites, but this time I didn't change the internal linking structure. What I did was I did what's called CTR manipulation, and what that means is that I just I used a piece of software that mimicked clicks to my website, and it's a black hat tactic, but I just wanted to see if this worked. These are test websites, by the way. These are not my clients' websites. They're not money-making websites. These don't make me money. These are just for research purposes. And I used CTR manipulation. And within a week of me completing that website with human written content, I used CTR manipulation, and right off the bat, Google started indexing my website, and my keywords started appearing on page 2 and 3. Some were just on page 10 and 11, but they started appearing, and that's the important thing. All things equal, and I started posting those links of my content on Facebook and I put it on Twitter, and people started coming in. And as soon as people, like real people, started coming in and engaging with my content, I saw my rankings improve. And I think that's one of the ranking factors that Google's looking at after the helpful content update, is how many people are coming to your website and not bouncing off within a few seconds. So if this is done right, you can recover your website. Now, I know a lot of people are going to come after me and say, they use 100% AI content and their websites rank and Google has not penalized them. And to them, I would say, if you're not being penalized, that's great. Continue using AI content. And I know of many of my competitors that use AI content. I can read the content. I can tell that this is AI generated. But at the same time, if you're writing content for human beings, I can read the content, and anyone else can read the content, and they can tell that this is not human generated. So right off the bat, you're losing readers from your website. So if you're trying to retain people on your website to improve your rankings, and they're coming on and they're bouncing up because they can see that this is AI generated content, Google will not rank you as well. So at least for your main pages, which are targeted at readers, or like if you're the affiliate site, or if you're a site that's running Google ads, you're trying to keep people on your website. Use content that will keep them engaged, that will keep them on your website. Add videos, add pictures, add those kind of things that will keep them on your website, and you'll see that it would just explode your rankings. With me, it worked, and I think it'll work with you as well. Right now, I'm getting like 20 visitors a day on one of my websites. The other website is getting around 100 visitors a day, and I made no other change except for what I've just told you. So, in my opinion, Google might not be able to tell if content is AI written, but humans can tell if AI content is written, and Google is monitoring people who are visiting your website. So if Google sees that your website isn't keeping people engaged, it means that your content isn't helpful. If it's not helpful, then it will probably not rank as well. And over time, Google will de-rank your content. So guys, if you like the video, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.